Well, hello, this is Gary. December 2025. Another day in America. It's cathartic, I suppose, just to feel myself get my thoughts out on this weird era, the Trump era. For me, it's a constant reminder of who that specific individual is. He was very famous throughout my childhood, famous for bankrupting companies, cheating on his wives, being racist, sexist, stupid. Had a lot of money that he inherited and he used to buy stuff, create businesses that would, pretty short order, go bankrupt. He ran them corruptly and fraudulently and was a known corrupt businessman. After another bankruptcy in the late 1990s, U.S. banks, stopped lending his companies money. He then became a game show host in the early 2000s. So that's kind of a Cliff Notes version of the biography of one Donald John Trump, that specific individual, who he is. It's a Cliff Notes version, condensed. That, again, bankruptcies, scandals, getting sued a lot, saying racist, sexist things in public. When I was 9, I saw him on television demanding 5 teenagers be executed. He knew they were guilty because of their skin color. He was a frequent guest of the Howard Stern Show, had a cameo in Home Alone 2, etc., etc. But lots of scandal. A jury of his peers said that yes, he did rape a woman. He's a convicted felon now. So that's who that specific individual was. What he was doing in 2016 when the Republican National Committee nominated him was he was hosting a television show that was soon going to come to an end because for a few years he had decided to use his soapbox to say racist stuff about the first African American president. It became the kind of cornerstone of his campaign, claiming Barack Obama wasn't born in America. Just kind of a blatantly racist, stupid trope, but news felt compelled to follow the story or whatever. But why is it a story that needs weight to it or something, or needs oxygen? He's a famous tabloid celebrity guy who's now the host of a television show who's saying blatantly racist stuff. It's his way of saying, look at me. You know, he always clamored for the spotlight, but he didn't really have any much substance to him. He's not very intelligent, not very good at running businesses. The main thing he claims to be good at, he's not very good at. He's bankrupted a series of companies, even though he was born with a fortune. So problem now is that we're in the depths of Trumpism. Many people being devoutly loyal to that specific individual and his ethos, one of cruelty and racism and acting violently towards people that you suspect are, well, it's not even clear what you suspect them of being. You know, with the case of ICE, they just sort of indiscriminately beat people up and arrest them and kidnap them. You know, once the smoke clears here and the fog clears, and hopefully it does at some point, you know, Trumpism dissipates, those involved should, and, you know, face criminal consequences for some of their actions. You know, ICE agents that are assaulting people and kidnapping people, you're not allowed to do that. Those military officials and Hegsworth that authorized the indiscriminate bombing, and then, you know, they bragged about it, not even talking about the double tap. The entire mission is illegal. They're suspected drug traffickers. Okay, suspected drug traffickers, you're under arrest. It's how it's supposed to go. You're under arrest. You're charged with drug trafficking. Here's our evidence. You're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If found guilty, usually the conviction, the sentence for a felony conviction of drug trafficking is not execution by, you know, a missile. We're going to put you on a boat and then we're going to execute you by a missile. That's usually not what the sentence is for a felony conviction of drug trafficking. But nonetheless, these suspected drug traffickers were executed by the United States military. An illegal command was given and obeyed. Some resigned from their posts in order to stop obeying, in order to not have to obey legal commands. But nonetheless, yeah, the entire mission is illegal and invalid. And just by going by what their justification was, these are drug traffickers. Okay, so you need to charge them with a crime. You don't just get to execute them because you think they're guilty of a drug crime. The war on drugs has been going on for many years and has many casualties, collateral damage. A lot of collateral damage with the war on drugs, because it is a war, and it's ongoing and constant, and it's a big war. You know, it's as global participants, you know, and all kinds of people that get caught up in the crosshairs of it. It's a pretty nasty endeavor, the war on drugs. Because in that specific case, they're talking about cocaine, which is a concentrated version of a plant. Tribal peoples in Central America discovered the particular plant eons ago and discovered that it gave them a heightened sense of awareness when out hunting and such. Many years later, humans learned how to concentrate that particular plant, thus making it more potent and more addictive, and in some cases deadly. You should be aware of any side effects of any drug before you take said drug, illicit or otherwise. The drugs that are advertised on television can be very dangerous for you if you're not the right person for it. Consult your doctor and all that kind of stuff. But always be careful with taking drugs. Yeah, because they have side effects, whether they're legal or not, you know. So but yeah, this administration has also made it clear they want to criminalize cannabis again, which is not even a drug at all. You may argue that like a concentrated version of cannabis is more like a drug, you know, like an oil, a THC oil or something. But cannabis, the plant in and of itself, it is just a plant. That's what it is. Many humans use it to feel better and to get through their days and to, well, for a wide variety of reasons. I'm one of those humans that benefit from cannabis, use it on a daily basis. I have epilepsy, and cannabis just kind of smooths out the edges for me. Yeah, I find it beneficial and been using it for decades. Government man disagrees and feels I should be locked up in a cage because I use cannabis. And if he catches me with it, I'll be, that's what may very well happen. You know, I'll be thrown in a cage called a prison. So it makes one, you know, cautious about where I go, even in this country, especially now. It's very clear that certain types of people deemed undesirable by Trump and his most loyal followers will, you know, well, yeah, you will have the clampdown coming their way. You know, and so the undesirables are, you know, leftists, hippies, and migrants, people who oppose Trump in any way, activists, you know, it's religious peoples who don't practice the religion the way that the Trump loyalists say you must practice it. And that's already kind of coming out. You know, there's already like memos being created that this is what is deemed appropriate, you know, according to the Trump dogma or whatever the fuck. It's weird and fucked up, and I don't tread on me, government man. You need to fuck off. Like, this is I wish, yeah, I don't know, there's just a stronger kind of repulsion of Trump and Trumpism, starting with him being fired from his job. I can really hope he doesn't complete this term. That would just be embarrassing for the history of our country. Like, I don't really know. The future would be quite uncertain if Trump is actually able to complete a full second term, even though day by day it's like the clampdown has begun. The ICE agents, Like they're acting with full impunity. Like they feel like they can do whatever they want. Cameras are rolling and everything, and they don't give a fuck. They will threaten to pepper spray journalists because, they're these ICE agents. They're not that stupid. They know they're engaging in criminal activity. That's why they want to scare the journalists away. Go away, journalists! Don't film me committing a crime. That's why their masks are on. They're not that dumb, but they're pretty dumb because they still tend to do the criminal activity while the cameras are rolling. They have a badge though on, and they receive a federal paycheck, so that makes it legal to assault and kidnap and threaten people. I don't really get how they've been able to get away with this for so long. It's like, but then when local police departments and such and certain local agencies aid the ICE agents, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you? Your purpose as a police officer is to serve and protect the public of your community. That's not ICE's mission. Their mission is the exact opposite. Their mission is to terrorize communities and to stoke fear and resentment. And that's what they do. That's why they intimidate and harass and terrorize communities, because that's what their purpose is. It's not to solve the document issue. It's to create more tension, and they're very successful at it. So it's like, what is the best response? That's still nonviolent, knowing that they very much want violence. That's what the ICE agents are looking for. That's why they come out, very aggressively. In attack mode. They're attacking citizens. They're indiscriminately attacking people, threatening to attack too. And it constant. And that's their approach. They view the public as hostile because there may be a person here that's undocumented. It's just, how did it get this far? Like, certain people's fear of immigrants, fear of people who are different than them, becoming a governmental policy. Like, how did it get to that? To where there's actually a militia roaming around, beating people up because too many people in this country are scared of immigrants and buy into racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric. It was something Trump was the cornerstone of his campaign the first time, blaming everything on immigrants. Our country, of all places, a country of immigrants. That's why we exist. Yet it's the immigrants' fault that you lost your job or that a crime was committed, even though native-born white people commit crimes at a higher rate than the immigrant. But it's like irrelevant or something. It's just annoying, the whole. But it's media buys into it, like the border crisis. What crisis? Yeah, we're a country that has a border, 2 borders, one with Canada, one with Mexico. What's the crisis about it? Oh yeah, because some people are really scared of Latinos. There's also this war on drugs, so a lot of people end up fleeing areas because of the war on drugs. The war on drugs creates drug cartels. Yeah, so it's this kind of vicious circle thing. So if you didn't have the war on drugs, you would have less likely to have people fleeing areas out of necessity because you wouldn't have drug cartels. Again, that highly expensive drug, cocaine, it's only worth a lot of money because it's illegal. It's just a concentrated version of a plant, so it's not really worth all that much. It's only worth a lot because it's illegal. And so the people growing it can charge a highly expensive price. And the people that are willing to do that and sell it tend to be, sociopathic individuals that are very ruthless and cruel, and then they get a lot of power and money. So, yeah. And then the people that are just trying to live their lives end up having to flee a situation in which a drug cartel is taking over a community and such. And yeah. But yeah, you got to stop the flow of cocaine. You must stop people from making their own decisions, and then, or whatever. Like, cocaine is a substance that's very, can be very dangerous for you, but people use it for a reason. It's a concentrated version of a plant. So it's very cheap to produce. It's just a plant. So water and sunshine, and then the processing of it, that's a little bit more expensive, but nonetheless, yeah. Extremely cheap to produce, and then you can charge a highly inflated price because it's illegal, thus creating a, moral incentive in a certain way for organized crime and such, Yeah, so it all kind of comes back to that too, this sort of overindulgent government trying to control people too much. People have to make their own decisions, and yeah, but that's not where our government is right now. Government man is very much in clampdown mode. Some in government are fighting it a little from within government, but yeah, there's quite a few that are full participants in the clampdown, going after people for exercising their free speech. Anyone that's been critical of Trump are now facing like criminal charges and such. Even though the indictments eventually get thrown out, it's still something you have to deal with. You dared to go at Trump, so now he's sicking his dogs on you from the Department of Justice. They're not focused on defending the people's interests. They're focused on defending Trump and attacking any of his rivals, any of his critics, any. He don't care. It's just so abysmal, Like I fail to think of a worse choice to be the president of a country than Donald John Trump. He's one of our worst and always has been. He's got a lot of money though, which reveals what a lot of people truly care about. Just have a lot of stuff. It's just like, it's more to life than owning lots of stuff and having lots of gold. Trump never understood that though, and he thinks he could just buy respect or command it. It's like, I will never respect you, Mr. Trump. You're pathetic and embarrassing, and I wish you would just resign, or that Congress would just have the balls to fire you from your job, a job that you were very piss poor at and should never have gotten in the first place because you didn't have any relevant experience to the job. None. You had none experience relevant to the job. If I want to get hired as a cook, they look to have cooking experience. Like, but you were the president of the United States and you had nothing, absolutely nothing in your resume that was relevant to the job. Mr. Trump, is a famous tabloid celebrity who became a game show host. That's it. That is what he is. He's a famous confidence man. Democrat blah 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 though. I know. Yeah. Democrat blah blah blah. That's going to be, it should be the title of a book. There's a whole movement of folks that were Democrat blah blah blah. That's why I'm voting for a famously incompetent, corrupt businessman. No, they wouldn't say the second part, but Donald John Trump is a famously corrupt and incompetent businessman who became a game show host and is now currently the president of the United States of America for the second time. Even though he abused his power the first time, and even though he encouraged a violent mob to storm the Capitol, and even though he's been since convicted of felonies since his first term, he's now a convicted felon. To this day, millions of folks, Democrat blah blah blah, Democrat to get to, and certain names of Democrats, Kamala Harris, Clinton, woke is dumb, as to why they still are subservient to said person, Mr. Trump. It's frustrating, man. So I hope people to aspire to be more, and just country be its best self. Right now it's not our best self. We're kind of, yeah, it's just not good. And I don't really know what quite the solution is if it kind of keeps this way, where government man is using his power and influence to enrich himself and then to violently oppress all kinds of people just living here peacefully. And like, you know, if they want to kind of keep going that way, then what? You know, like, kind of puts us in a pickle. So I hope that just the various representatives of the various parts of our country just fire Mr. Trump from his job. That's the first step. It's just a job that he's not very good at and never should have got in the first place. But nonetheless, we have a process to fire a person that's not worthy of the job, you know. So I hope they take that first step expeditiously, and then Mr. Trump gets, you know, transferred to a home for the elderly. You know, that's where he should spend his final days, in a home that can take care of those folks that are having cognitive issues in their final days. But yeah, breathe in the day, drink plenty of water, get your vitamins, do more than 30 to 40 minutes of exercise a day. I prefer to get a good couple hours in throughout the day, different types, you know. Stay loose, stay moving. Onward and upward. Peace from quickly. Amen.